So in this video, we're going to look at a couple more examples of the arithmetic sequences. If you remember, arithmetic sequences have to do with addition. So we are adding or technically subtracting to find the pattern. When you are subtracting, that is going to be the same thing as adding a negative number. So the only difference with those is that your common difference will be a negative number instead of a positive number. So I have on the screen in this very bottom highlighted row, you'll see that the general form is going to be an, which is the nth term, equals a1, the first term, plus n minus 1d. N is going to be whatever term you're thinking about. So if we're looking for the 100th term, then n will be 100. If we're just looking for the nth term, then we'll leave n as a variable. And then that is going to be multiplied by d, the common difference. Essentially what that just means is you're looking for the rule there. So let's look at our first example. So the first example is from your notes, says write the first 6 terms of the arithmetic sequence from the first term a1 and the common difference d. Well, they told us that a1 was 8, which just means that the first term is going to be 8. And then they told us that the rule or the common difference is 2. And what I wrote off to the side here is that just means add 2 to find the next terms. So we're going to start with the first term and add 2, which is going to give us a next term of 10. We will then add 2 to that term, which will give us a next term of 12. And we're going to continue to add 2 until we found all 6 terms like it says. So 12 plus 2 is going to give me 14. 14 plus 2 is going to give me 16. And then 16 plus 2 is going to give me 18. And so that would be your answer for number 3. Now, number 4 has 2 parts that we're going to do in the video, and the directions are the same. Now, this one says that we want to find the 8th term with a1 equals 4 and d equals negative 7. So you could list off all 8 terms and then just keep adding the common difference until you get to the 8th term. However, I would recommend using the formula just because when they ask me for the 100th term or the 52nd term, you're not wasting time listing off all these numbers. So I just went ahead and wrote the formula over here on the right. Because I'm looking for the 8th term, I'm going to fill in a sub 8. That means the 8th term. Okay, and the first thing they ask me for is a 1, or the first thing I need for my formula, which is a 4 plus n minus 1d. Well, in this case, because I'm looking for the 8th term, n is going to be 8 minus 1. And then d, they told me the common difference is going to be negative 7. And what a common difference of negative 7 means is just that I am subtracting 7 instead of adding 7. And so what I'm going to do, I now want to simplify this down some. So I'm going to distribute this negative 7 so that I can find my a sub 8th term. So once you distribute that negative 7, combine up all your like terms, you will get a term of negative 45. Okay, and so that would be our answer for that one. Now looking down at the next one, I'm asked a similar question. Find a sub 10 if a1 equals negative 8 and d equals 10. They phrased it a little bit differently here. Instead of saying find the 10th term, they said find a sub 10, which means find the 10th number. And, oops, it went away. 10, n equals 10 is what I'm looking for with the a sub 10. Okay, so I'm going to fill in my formula. I've got a sub 1 given to me, and then also d equals 10. So I'm going to fill all this stuff in. So a sub 10 is going to equal a1, which they told me the first term was negative 8, plus n minus 1 times d, and n is going to be 10, and then d is going to be 10 as well. So now I'm going to, same thing, distribute that 10, or you could do 10 minus 1 is 9 times 10 plus negative 8. Doesn't matter. Simplify that thing, and you get out that the 10th term for this one is 82. And so that would be your final answer.